All right, let's start the meeting.
All right, we're starting the meeting. Okay. My name is Richard. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Richard.
I am a drug addict too, and I did experiment with cocaine for about 25 years and decided it really wasn't for me. So, what is Alcoholics Anonymous? Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience,
Strength and hope with each other,
that they may solve their
common problems, and help others to recover from alcoholism.
The only requirement for membership
Is a desire to stop drinking. Dues or fees for AA membership, we do supporting for our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes.
So anyway, welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I know you're going like, oh shit, this is the rest of my life, AA. But I had the same feeling when I came into AA 13 years ago. I got out of a place like this, and I went to my first AA meeting, and I've never missed one since. I got a sponsor when I was in rehab, and I thought I was doomed to like sit with old men and women and like playing pinochle, which I don't know how to play. So maybe going bowling once in a week, or like,
Before our time.
you know, I always thought I was like an exciting guy, and I was like, AA is going to screw me up. How can they take all the power and partying out of a guy who shits in his pants at the bar? You know, they didn't take that away from me. I guarantee you that. They didn't take that away from me. Not that I still shit in the bar.
Well,
I don't go into bars anymore, or if I have to, it's to go get somebody. But, you know, I really thought that was going to be boring and like life was going to be dull. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. It really is exciting. I know that sounds like a crock of shit here. I know it, because I sat in your chair and I listened to someone up here and going, you know, they got to be kidding me. And but they weren't kidding me. And I lead a pretty good life now. I still fuck up every once in a while. I was drinking and drugging. I have, you know, well, Stephanie's my fiance over here. She's much nicer to look at.
lucky girl. I'm the lucky
I
one.
got problems.
I'm kidding.
All right. So usually we have a chairperson, a leader, and then two speakers. But I'm gonna have to go both ways tonight. I don't do that otherwise.
Are you sure?
That's disgusting.
So I'm not supposed to. Whoa.
So anyway, I'm gonna introduce.
Guess I'll have to leave some out of my story.
She'll share her experience, strength, and hope. I hope not all of her experiences, and
That's
then
right.
I'll share my experience, strength, and hope. And again, you know, I'm not here to tell you to stop drinking. I'm here to tell you my story. You can identify with it and say like, oh shit, I did that, or shit, I did that, or oh, I never did that. Well, you know, that's up to you. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to cajole you. I'm not here to bring you into our cult. You know, watch the wheels go round. Stare at the big triangle. That is not my job, and I don't want to do that. I just wanted to tell you what happened to me, and how I got sober in AA, how AA worked for me, how sometimes I fight with it, struggle with it, and yet most of the time I'm very happy with it. I'll tell you that my life is different, that I'm different, and I'll tell you the truth, okay? I'll tell you the truth. The one thing in AA that we have to keep right up front is I'm going to be honest with you, and that's all I can do. That's all I can do. And maybe we'll have a couple of laughs on Stephanie's expense. So, with that, I'll give you Stephanie.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Steph. I'm an alcoholic. I am not as funny as he is. You can laugh probably at me more than you'll laugh with me. But he started out on the note of honesty, and that really is what AA is kind of about, right? We're only as sick as our secrets. I'm sure you've heard that pounded, and thank you. Do I have like a factory of chatty people over here? You gonna heckle me? No. Yeah. So we're only sick as our secrets. So the honesty, yeah, I mean that's the key. And so what he was saying really about listening to the story, like your story may not sound like mine on the outside. We may not have had the same experiences. But if you listen to the emotions connected with my story, that's where you're looking to identify. That's really the key, because I'm betting you and I don't really have similar stories on the outside of things. But I'm also betting that a majority of us felt a lot of the same things, and we're all here for a lot of the same reasons. So, the beginning of my life was pretty boring. I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old. They take you through an agency, so they take you from the agency, you stay with a foster mother, and then you go to your adoptive home. Just a baby, don't remember it. My parents were very honest about it as soon as I could speak, so I grew up knowing. And never really thought I had an issue with it, but I also grew up in a really shut down home where the only emotions that were allowed were happy. And so if you weren't happy, if you were angry, if you were sad, you drank, the grown-ups, and you shut the hell up if you were a kid. You didn't express those emotions. They were verboten. But honestly, outside of that sort of, weirdness, I had a really nice early few years, until about 8. Smooth sailing, and then 8. So there was some financial trouble in my family around 8, and what was sort of a glamorous on the outside life became a less glamorous life, and there was a lot of resentment in my house. And that was when I started to use food. That was my first addiction, really, to self-soothe and to calm what would later become very intense anxiety. But that's when, I think one of the best analogies I ever heard another speaker talk about with anxiety was, some of you are going to be too young to remember, these old school stoves that always had a pilot light burning in them, and then when the gas came up, right? So it was like I lived from 8 years old until 5 years ago with that little burning light of anxiety in the pit of my stomach, and then someone, usually me or someone else I would blame then, would turn up the gas, and it would light up. And I'll say this now, the pilot light is out. There's no pilot light of anxiety in me. Except when I speak, I get a little nervous. But it's normal. It's normal anxiety over normal things. And that only came about because of AA. So I grew up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan in a really nice neighborhood. And by 12 years old, I was up on 135th and Lenox, drinking 40s of Old E in brown paper bags, smoking blunts, and walking like an OG. So I would sort of walk, look at me. I am not going to sleep to the sound of gunshots, right? I do not have these problems, but I wanted to. I crushed bamboo earrings. I had my hair up on top of my head, dark purple lipstick. And I hung out with, men. I was 12, 13, and I was hanging out with 18, 19, 20-year-old men, when you really look at those two ages. So that was my intro to drinking and drugs. 13, 14, mostly through my, God, you say my middle school years, that I was a weekend warrior. And I went to a private school, on the Upper East Side, girls' school, perfect little, and I just never felt like I fit in there. So that was why, uptown, I felt like I belonged there in a way that I didn't feel with people like me. I was supposed to feel like them, and I didn't feel like them. I felt less than. I remember at 5, we would go on these beach walks. Our parents would go drink, and they'd, drop us off at a play group, and we'd go on these beach walks. And there were all these blonde little fuckers with names like Bo and Blair, and they would lead the beach walks. And, I already didn't feel good enough to go on the beach walks. I would say, I want to stay home with your grandma and eat in the kitchen. So, I see this now that I'm clear, going back in my story, I see that less than, I didn't fit in, I felt really uncomfortable with myself. I felt fat, I felt ugly, everything. The script in my head was that bad by 12 years old. And the minute I took my first drink, my first 40, after I poured a little out for my homies, I felt better. It brought me the ease and comfort. Slowly but surely, I learned how to be a chameleon. So I learned how to fit in with my classmates, with these prep school girls with whom I'd never felt any connection. And I hated them. I hated them because of the way I felt. I put onto them the things that I thought about myself, right? So I thought they were all horrible, snotty, bitchy, hated me. Probably none of that was true. I never bothered to get to know any of them, but I assumed that's what they thought about me. So I very quickly made myself into the bad girl. Nobody did it for me. I decided I was going to be the bad girl before anyone else could give me the title. And so I started acting out, getting kicked out of school, whatever, detention, all that stuff. But my drinking and drugs were sort of, you know, pretty normal. The chameleon could go to the Upper East Side bars with her prep school friends, or could go to 135th and Lenox and drink on the corner, and I fit into both groups perfectly well, at least on the outsides. Like, they thought I could be one of them. No part of me ever felt good about it, comfortable. And that's when sort of the shameful stuff started happening. I started acting out when I drank and used in other ways that, you know, I think a lot of women understand, probably some men, making choices that didn't make me feel better about myself. College, you know, I leave home. I always had very permissive parents, so it wasn't like I was like, yahoo! It was like, okay. I didn't really want to go, so I chose a place that was close to the city so I could still be close to my cocaine dealer. That's how you chose colleges in my world. I want to be able to, far enough away from my stupid parents, but close enough to drive in so I can find, cocaine is coming into my story, so I can find my dealer. Go to college. I hate my parents at this point in my life, really hate them. I feel like it's all their fault that I hate myself and that I'm so angry and that I'm a bad girl and I'm blaming them in my head all the time. Of the two of them, I really liked my father better. There was a kindness and a gentleness about him. He cared about other people in a way that my mother didn't, or so I thought. Anyway, he died in my senior year, and you'll hear sometimes people, alcoholics and drug addicts, talk about, I was a heavy drinker, and then I see this line in my story where it goes from heavy drinking into alcoholic drinking. And that's really when I lost my dad, that was my excuse, but that was my line. And I went from heavy drinking, weekend drinking, where I could definitely go long periods of time without it, into like daily drinking. So by the time I'm 21, I'm drinking almost all day, every day. I'm leaving, I get a job out of college, and I'm like an overachiever at my job, right? Because I'm so ashamed and I'm sort of fucking up so much in my other life and my outside work life that I feel this drive to do even better in my job. So I'm constantly pushing myself a lot harder than I can to succeed, and I'm successful while being miserable and clenched and tense all the time. So it really helped to have doers and soda for lunch instead of food. That would ease my way through the second half of the day. And then go out drinking all night. Cocaine comes a little more into my story. Not so much yet, but it's, you know, so I can drink the way I want to drink. It's not every night yet. My life is getting bad, and bad fast. I can barely look in the mirror anymore. The script in my head is just like, you're ugly, you're horrible, you're a failure, you're a fraud. Nothing you do is really good. Everybody who talks to you and says you're good is lying. So my thought life is unbearable. My life on the outside, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't really afford my rent. I always am juggling. And I'm just miserable. Like, there's nothing good in my life. So I decide the best thing and the thing that will fix it all is a man. So I found one who willingly became my hostage. And I took him along the ride for 4 years. When he didn't immediately fix problems, I said, well, nothing's getting better here. I have to leave New York. Clearly, New York is the problem. We need to move somewhere where there's no drinking. I will be absolutely fine. You're from Scotland. Let's move to Scotland. So they drink in Scotland. I don't know if you've heard about this. They drink. Everything closes at midnight, so you got to drink earlier in the day, right? Go to bed earlier, get up earlier, start it all earlier. But so I went to Scotland, and I bought my liquor at the supermarket, because it's all in one there, which I thought was like the best thing I'd ever heard. But the supermarket closes at 10, so I'd like buy a bottle, and go, I'm only going to drink 1 bottle of wine tonight. I'm only going to drink, you know, half a bottle of vodka, and then it's like 9:30, we don't have a car, and I'm like running across Scottish moors and hills to get to the supermarket because I finished my bottle, right? Like every night I'm lying to myself, I'm gonna have one. I never had one bottle. I had enough until I passed out, got up, went to work, and did it again. So it changed the face of my drinking a little. Like I wasn't drinking all day, just all night. And cocaine, I didn't find, I found cocaine there one night. I went out to a club with my boyfriend, who I ditched at the club. Like I went to a bar on another floor, it was called the Cat House in Glasgow. And I ditched him on another floor because I found a guy I thought had cocaine. And I went and made out with the guy I thought who had cocaine on the other floor of the bar. Barry was mad, but not mad enough. Really, he should have gotten a little angrier. Like kicked me the hell out, right? But whatever, he was my hostage, literally. So things clearly didn't change. They didn't get any better there, you know. I made quite a few men outside of my relationship happy in Scotland. So when that wasn't working, I said, well, this isn't working. I don't like you anymore. I'm out. So I leave him in Scotland with his like miserable, scary family. And I come back to New York. I think it's all fixed. I'm done. Fresh start, New York City, here I come, and my first night back off the plane, I drank enough and did enough cocaine that, you know, I came out of a blackout the next day in my bed, and I had that hangover where, like, you're sweating, every pore is sweating. It's not like your face is sweating, or your palms, it's like the whole body is just, your pores are the size of your nostrils, every part of you is, like, kind of sore. You can't really move, but you're too uncomfortable to sleep, so you're just lying there like, holy shit, I want to die. And years before, a psychiatrist had given me a copy of Living Sober, and I was like, I don't know what this is for, and I'd put it on my bookshelf. And that day, I saw it. I noticed it on my bookshelf, and some people you hear speak will say it was a God wink. I am not a believer. I am an atheist, so if you're scared to come around to the rooms of AA, there are other ways to do it. Come, join us, find what works for you, but it can be a foundation for anyone. Our whole premise is everyone's accepted. So anyway, I went to a meeting. Like, I'd grown up in this era, right, where like the Basketball Diaries and that movie about those, where the mother, whatever, all these movies were like very chic to be a drug addict, and it was very chic to be in recovery. So I actually didn't have that sort of like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in the basement with old guys in trench coats, like smoke, you know, I didn't have that in my head. I thought, this is great. It's super cool, because now I'm an addict and I'm in recovery. So I went to AA for all the right reasons to get sober. Well, let me tell you, not the right reasons. I did not drink for 4 years, and I went to meetings, just angry. And I raised my hand, and I blamed my parents, and I raised my hand, and I blamed you, and I raised my hand, and I hated everybody. And I shared, and I was in the fellowship. I never did the steps. I never opened the book. But the fellowship really did save my life for those 4 years, because I think if I'd kept up at the rate I'd been going, I would have been dead. So it took booze and drugs out of my life, but it put food right in there, because I didn't have anything to help. I wasn't really using the program of Alcoholics Anonymous as the women in the room suggested to me. So I picked up food, and I got fatter and fatter and fatter. And when I went out, like, really, no, like this. When I went out 4 years later, was I really in? But when I went out 4 years later, I was 260 pounds. And I stayed at 260 pounds for the 3.5 years, almost 4 years that I was out. My drinking changed. I learned a lot in AA. By the way, just an aside, I do have a story of one relapse, and it doesn't have to be yours. If you're here for your first time, you never have to come back here again. If you're here for your second time, you never have to come here again. But really, a story doesn't have to have relapse. You don't have to make your story bigger, better, fancier, harder core, like I don't feel like mine matches up. Mine isn't that exciting, you know? It's fine. It is what it is. It's mine. My bottom was mine. So anyway, life did not look good. The end of my drinking, I started to try and lose weight because I didn't want to stop drugs and drinking. I quit smoking. I did everything I could, but about a year before, and this is an example of like, because I felt so less than. you hear, especially men talk about grandiosity, that like show off, that sort of bullshit, like I'm better and I'm bigger, and really on the inside they're feeling sad. That really was my story. So I was going to show people that I had everything, that I made a lot of money. I was not making a lot of money. I owned an apartment that I told people I bought myself, but my mother bought for me. And I took out a loan against the apartment for $250,000, and I racked up $50,000 in credit card debt, and this is sort of a year before I get sober. And in 3 months, I spent $300,000 by renting a house in Southampton, because that's fancy. And I don't know how to drive, so getting to the house in Southampton required transportation, which meant car services for me, fancy girl me, and I would only take Mercedes car services. Like, what the fuck am I thinking? Like, okay. But that to me is like, you may not see that as crazy yet, but that's crazy. Like, who am I? Nobody cares. Who am I lying to? That I'm like renting a house in the Hamptons? I make $30,000 a year at this point. Like, right. I'm buying expensive bags and shoes, like anything to cover up the shit I feel like inside, right? It is so deep in me. I hate myself so much. So the more I can do on the outside, the more I can cover it up from the rest of the world, they'll never know. Well, didn't really go well. Now I was $300,000 in debt, not making much more money. Sometimes choosing between feeding my cats. I now have 5. I only had 3 then. Crazy cat lady. See, they can be attractive. They're not all dumpy. So, but I really would. Like, I made friends with the local pet store guy, so he would, like, give me cat food on credit. I'd pay him when I got paid. Mikey, he was so good. I love him. I love Mikey. I'd hug him. So that's, the end of my story isn't like an exciting bottom, except I didn't have mirrors in my house anymore, right? Because I hated myself so much, so deeply inside myself, I literally could not look at myself in the mirror anymore. And it wasn't just the shame from the drinking and the drugs, which I knew I shouldn't do. I'd already heard it in the rooms. I probably knew it before I came in. It wasn't just the actions I was taking when I was high, when I was drunk. It was everything. My life was unmanageable. Step 1, my life was unmanageable, but I couldn't see that. I had no idea. I had no idea that $300,000 in debt was unmanageable. I really couldn't see that. And I hadn't really addressed the powerlessness, like I knew it, I understood it, but I wouldn't have been able to articulate that. So what I did know was that my life was unbearable. It was completely unbearable to be in my head and in my body. I couldn't stand it. My last night was no different from any other night. October, 9th of 2011. Hopefully that will be my sobriety date forever, but a day at a time. I partied until October 10th, I guess. Came out of my blackout, and I just felt that same hangover again, and I'd engaged in behavior about which I wasn't proud. And I made my friend Megan sleep on the couch, and I ordered a ton of food, and it just sat there. And I sat there, and I wanted to kill myself, like not theoretically. It was like, so if I go up to this floor in my building, if I go up far enough, and I go this way, and nobody will see. And then instead of doing that, I picked up the phone, and I called a sober friend. And he said, sit tight, I'm going to bring you Antabuse, and I want you to try to go to a meeting. And I couldn't take Antabuse that day because I was still filled with liquor. So he brought me one, I took it the next day, and I lived on Antabuse and fear. I just knew I couldn't feel that way again. And he took the option off the table of drinking because I really wasn't willing to like vomit myself into a heart attack in order to drink. And I don't remember when I came back to my first meeting of AA. I knew it was there. I was nervous. But my heart, deep in me, I knew there was going to be acceptance. I was ashamed, and I worried about people judging me. But when you're in a good meeting and you have really strong people with some time, it's safe. It's a really safe place. And they welcomed me back with open arms. They really did. And I went into it hardcore. Like I went at sobriety with everything I had. And the first thing I did was choose a sponsor named Dale. Tough, Irish, old school alcoholic. And I hated her the first time I was in the rooms, right? Because she was one of those, like, you call me at 7:30, I have 10 minutes. If it's 7:40, I'm not picking up the phone. You go to a meeting every day. She gave me a lot of musts, which in general, like I as a sponsor don't do. I'm willing to have some flexibility, but it's what I needed. And I wanted to fight against it so badly, but the life force in me was stronger than my fight again. I couldn't do it anymore. So I took every suggestion she made, and boy did it, well, that's a lie. I almost took every suggestion she made. She also said no dating. And she used one of Richard's lines, I have problems other than alcohol and drugs. So the no dating was slightly harder for me to do. And I use the term dating lightly. But so I dated, and I found another guy with 10 years sober who probably should have told me to fuck off since I had, like 3 months. I may have lied to him about how much time I had. Anyway, we told each other we loved each other in 2 weeks, and we spent the next, year together loving each other and kind of torturing each other. And it did not make the first year of sobriety easier, but I also have to say that I wanted it enough, that I needed it enough, that at that point, a man wasn't going to take me out. At that point, no matter how rough that relationship was, he wasn't going to take me out. The reason I came back in the first place was an abusive man came into my life, and gratefully only for 6 months. And the life force in me understood that if you get sober, you can get rid of him, right? So that saved me. So AA came back into my life without me even knowing it, kind of, and saved me from that, and then I skidded around. So anyway, I came back with ferocity, and I wanted it, and I pink cloud and really annoying, which is not my personality at all. I'm kind of a bitch, very dry. I don't take shit from anyone, but I was willing to take what was given to me because I could not live in my own head anymore. I would cross the street and I would hear in my head, I would think the men who were like in their cars driving at the red light, I thought they were thinking, look at that disgusting freak. I wish I could just hit her. Like, that was the kind of stuff that was in my head. That's unbearable. And I was losing weight. I was like, I look like I do now. And I still thought, like, they hate me, everybody hates me. But I stuck around, and I had faith. So here's where I didn't land on being an atheist. I came in agnostic. And that is to say, not that I didn't know. I was agnostic on the issue of God. I didn't care. I didn't have an opinion either way. And I came in and I was like, oh, I'm never going to do this with God. How am I ever going to get through this? I hate God. I hate religious people. I hate it all. And my sponsor was like, well, you don't have to. All I'm asking you to do is have faith in me, other women in the room, and the program of AA. Can you do that? And I said, sure, I can do that. I can do that. I can believe that this woman is, in fact, happy and joyous and free, and that she used this program as her foundation to get there. I can believe that. And I can turn my will and my life over to the other women in AA. I really do recommend women with the women and men with the men after making my own choices. Learn from me, trust me when I say. So when she said, can you do that? I said, yeah, I can do that. I don't have, as long as, she said, you can define your God or not define your God. That's going to take time. Don't let that block you off. So I remained agnostic on the issue for a while we did step 1. And then when 2 and 3 came, I made it AA. I made it the women in AA. I came to believe that a power greater than me, which is all of you. Like, this is a powerful room, right? All of us connected. Quantum physics, literally we are just energy. This is a huge amount of energy than the tiny little amount of energy of me alone. And me alone wasn't getting anywhere or doing anything. So with the power of other people, with that connectedness, I believed in that. I came to believe in that. I turned my will and my life as a drinker over to AA. And slowly I started to feel better. And slowly the fog started to clear out of my brain. Turned out I was still crazy. There was a lot of crazy going on in there, and I found a great psychiatrist. And I take some really approved meds, and I take them every day. And the pilot light of anxiety went out, I would say, not for like a year. I mean, I really had to stick around, and I'm not going to lie and be like everything was great. My first year and a half was tough. I threw myself into service in AA pretty quickly because that took my mind off of me for a little while. Because even now, when I get too stymied in my own shit, right? Like, then the self-pity comes in. Why am I doing this? Like, I don't need that. It's much easier. So, for instance, why I'm here right now, this is, I hope I help someone, but it really helps me. So service was big for me in the beginning, along with, just the idea of acceptance and that I had somewhere safe to be no matter what I thought or what I believed. So I came in and I threw myself into the steps, and I did not do them in 90 days. There is nothing anywhere in the literature that says you have to do everything right now. You find a sponsor who you're comfortable with and you work with that person on a schedule that works for you both. I recommend trying whatever is suggested. If it doesn't work out, you be honest. But the first step is just showing up and asking for help. That is a powerful thing, and that immediately brings you into a place of humility. So if you can't find a higher power, spirituality sort of evades you. Just the act of saying, I don't know how to do this alone, I need help, it's the same thing. That's spirituality, that's connection. I need you. That was something I'd never said in my life before the second time in AA, because I can do everything. There is nothing I can't do alone. I know everything, I got it, don't worry about me, I can do everything alone, I don't need help. Turns out one of the many things I can't do alone is stay sober. And if I don't constantly reconnect with the program of AA, I have nothing. I'll end with this so that Richard can blather on about himself. He loves it. Oh, he's exactly the same way at home. All about Richard, but that's okay. I have a program to help me with that now. No, for real, it makes relationships so much easier. The fog clears, you take the Lexapro in my case, everything calms down a little bit. And now I can just go, shut the fuck up, and walk away. There's no big blow-ups. He says the same to me. Trust me, I'm just as annoying. So, I heard a lot of people say when I first came into AA, oh, it gave me a life beyond my wildest dreams, blah, blah, blah. I never really had a dream. I never thought I would go anywhere. I never thought I'd get married. I wasn't one of those girls who was like, oh, white dress and pretty things. When you're drinking 40s at 12 years old, the last thing on your head is like your virginal white dress at your wedding. That's gone by 13, So I didn't have those dreams. I honestly was shocked that I'd lived past 30. I really thought I was going to go out like in the movies, like I was going to drink myself to death or overdose from something I accidentally tried one night because I couldn't find cocaine. I just thought it was going to end badly. So what AA gave me wasn't a life beyond my wildest dreams, and in fact, sometimes it's very annoying, my life, but it's a life, right? Sorry, honey, you're not annoying at all. What it gave me was a life. And I never thought I could have that. I never thought I could go through the world without clenched, every part of me clenched with anxiety. And my life looked fearless, there wasn't anything I couldn't do. I did it. But the clench of fear and anxiety was always in me. And the release from that was what gave me a life, right? So it gave me this foundation. The steps gave me the foundation, 1 through 11. And then step 12, which is really about helping others. And for many people, if you listen, is their spirituality, kindness, giving, love, right? That's all, I believe, inherent within us. Staying sober allows you to find it again. It was there when you were a kid, right? There was kindness, you weren't a racist, you weren't behaving badly, and that's an important last point to make. This is bad behavior. You're an addict and you've engaged in some bad behavior, but you're not a bad person, right? I mean, maybe some of you are, I don't know. But really, I think that spirit of the child is still in us, and that's God to me. That's it. So AA allowed me to refine that, to discover my kindness, and to give that back to the world. So I have a foundation on which to live, and by constantly giving, I keep my life happy, joyous, and free mostly, right? But it's still life, so I take shit as it comes. And I yell, and I cry, and it's not perfect, and I make a lot of mistakes, and I talk about politics when I shouldn't. And And I fight with people and I unfriend them on Facebook because of it when I shouldn't. You know, whatever. And then I'm a pile of tears in front of the mirror sometimes because I've eaten a Dunkin' dinner, you know. 17,000 calories later, I'm like, oh, weird, my pants don't fit. And then I'm on the floor crying, right? But that's life. That's life. And now I can take it as it comes. So that's really spectacular to me. Like, I have the feeling, I go through the feeling ends, I don't have to try and get rid of it. Not gonna lie, Lexapro helped a lot. But it gave me the ability to do so many more things for myself to give myself a great life. So while it is not a life beyond my wildest dreams, it is a pretty incredible life, and I have AA to thank for that, and now I have all of you to thank for that.
Shall we wait?
That's a no. That's a no.
And Stephanie didn't go to rehab. I did.
Oh, shut up.
I know, like, not bad to look at. So somebody asked me when I came in tonight, they go, are you Hawaiian? And I said, I've never had a lay on. I've never got a lay. But I'm not Hawaiian.
Easy to believe.
I'm not Hawaiian. I'm not an American Indian. I'm not Eskimo. I'm not Chinese. I'm a Jap, not a Jewish American princess. I'm Japanese. Or as people go like, are you Oriental? I said, do I look like a rug? I'm Japanese. And you know, that's part of my story because you know, that's not why I'm an alcoholic, but it's part of my story growing up. You know, at that time it wasn't so easy. There weren't many Japanese in Babylon. It was me. And you know, I mean,
people brings all the cars, right?
Yeah. They're made in South Carolina now. But it's part of my story because I got made fun of a lot. You know, guys like you, Chinese Cherry, Goop, this, that. I'm like, yeah. So I got a lot of fights in elementary school. And, you know, I remember distinctly, I was in 6th grade, I'm in the choir, and my best friend who was black, Elmer Harris, he looked at me and he goes, you know, Richard, we're screwed. We're screwed. And he was right, because there's a sea of white people and us. And, you know, I mean, drinking made me feel better. It made, because I started feeling like uptight about everything. And I was drinking by 7th grade, 8th grade. I drink every day because it was like medicine. People were like, alcohol didn't work for me. It damn well worked for me. It was good. I mean, it made me right. It made me like, I was very shy, you know, being a little jat, you know, and the other problem was, you know, God blessed me with really high IQ. I no longer have it. I drank and drugged it all away. But, you know, I was a smart little kid in school, and, you know, because copy off of me, I was like, no, do your own work. The Asians have that about it. Do your own work. And I just didn't feel right, but alcohol made me feel right. And, you know, once I had my first drink, I remember that distinctly because it was, you know, these guys in the woods. They said, hey, Richard, come over here. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to get the crap beat out of me again. And, you know, it was like, I lived in an Italian area, Tony Rinaldo, Joey Balzone. And it was like all these guys, and then like, Richard. And they gave me beer. And it wasn't really so much the alcohol. It was like that feeling of like, these guys like me. You know, I'm part of like a crew. And these guys are the ones that I always would make fun of me. But these were the bad then, you know, leather jacket, long hair. And boy, everything that you know, God blessed me with a lot of gifts, but I just started giving them all away. And a good little boy that liked to go to school and do his work and read, it just started going away. And I traded it all for drinking and drunken with Tony and Joey, et cetera, et cetera. Now the thing that I found out is they were an alcoholic, and I didn't know it. But they drank on the weekends, okay, and Monday, when it came time for school, I was like, why aren't they drinking today? And that's when I started this everyday drinking. But I was able to just catch the buzz and not get drunk, just feel relaxed. And I would always have guys buy me alcohol. You know, I remember also distinctly when everyone was drinking beer. And I went to a party, and you know, fucking guys were like crashing Budweiser cans on their forehead, and their little girlfriend cheerleaders like, oh. And I'm like, I said, this is it? This is it? And then my other guy's like, hey, come over here, he's coat. And I was like, oh, they had everything. They had everything. They had the drink, the hard liquor, the weed, and I didn't really like weed because the only time I smoked weed was when I thought I was going to get laid. And I still have the same roach in my pocket for about 10 years. But I didn't like any of that. No, so it was like really like I wanted to get, you know, we don't drink socially. Once I started drinking, it was like drink to get drunk. And that's what I did. And, you know, through school, it was just getting worse and worse. But, you know, one thing that happened is that in junior high school, Yoko Ono and John Lennon became very popular. And all of a sudden, it was very cool to be Japanese. And I got laid more than I took over the black spot. And I was getting laid like, oh my God. You know? That ego kicked in, like, who's got it better than me, man? You know? It was really nice. But I'm going to my other problem. But drinking drove me. It drove me. And when I got out of high school, I ended up in a really good college. They quickly, you know, when we go to school, sometimes I was asked to leave, like, get your shit together. Come back, get your shit together, and so I had to bounce around, and you know, I came to one night, and one morning, and I had a wife and 3 children, a house, and a car. You know, like men, we always look at the women and go, how did this happen? How did this happen? Like, really? But it really was that I couldn't even stay there, you know. I would throw money at the family, and it wasn't even a family anymore. It was like 4 people, the children and my wife, like trying to protect themselves from me. And it wasn't that I hit them or did anything like that. It was that I was that whirling dervish tornado that was just out of control. I wanted to go to the bar because that's where my family was. That's where I felt comfortable. That's where I had my own stool. That's where, you know, I could say shit. And some guy would say, you know, I'm going to kick your ass there, little Chinese boy. And I had 3 guys always with me and said, before you do that, you got to go through us. And it was always like I was protected. And I just felt right there was home. And I didn't go to clubs like Stephanie, the club. I went to bars where you pissed on the wall, no one would look twice. It just added to the aroma. And that was what I liked. I liked that. I liked broken bar stools, people carving shit on the bar, and a bartender who like protected me. You know, I learned right away, you don't dig in your pocket for money. You know, I got taught right away, like, put your money on the bar and let the bartender take the money. Okay, just put it right there. And I learned very well, and that was my family. So I would stay there. And my family, they tried to just keep going, and I threw money at them. You know, I started a business. The business did pretty good. I don't know how. And, you know, from 10 employees to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 employees. And here are all these people who have families, and they're trying to, like, I look at them one day, I'm like, you people depend on me. And it was really scary. You know, eventually when I hit the bottom, they're asking me, you should go home. You should go home. Because I always had a Gatorade bottle, and I'll pour the Gatorade out. Right, just leave a little for the coloring, and I pour the vodka in. You know, I was a Tanqueray and tonic drinker, so all the Tanqueray went away. Because when I was at bottom, I had those plastic bottles, you know, the $8.99, very safety conscious. You drop them and they just bounce right back up. You know, when you buy 2 of them a day, and the liquor store owner looks at you like, I really don't want to sell this to you. I'm going to. I mean, that's where I got to, and I started, you know, my friends would see me on television, on News 12, you know, about the business, and they would always laugh. They go, Richard, look how blasted you are. Because I'm leaning on the wall, well, I don't know. And, you know, we designed the landing system that went on the Mars lander. So I crawl into bed like 6 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings. And so Mr. Nico, we'd like to know how you feel about all these images coming back from Mars that everyone's so excited about. And I was drunk and I said, well, at least we're not the fucking Hubble. And they printed it. At least we're not the XXX Hubble. That was not good. And I just couldn't go home anymore. I really tried. And Neil, you know, when we say, we're talking about this line that we crossed, when I heard a great one, it's like we carry the line. We don't just say, well, there's a line. We pick it up and move it. And I kept moving it and moving it. But the line was over there now. New horizon in drunkenness and drugging. And, you know, in Alcoholics Anonymous, I mean, drugs is drugs. And we try to keep, you know, we need to talk about alcohol, but it comes in. And I heard somebody else tell me they went to a meeting and they didn't feel comfortable. And you know, I'm in AA, and I go to a meeting and I'm like, God, this is like a morgue, you know? So go to another meeting. Don't think that this one meeting you go to, where everyone has a twisted face, like they're pissed off. You got what I want? I don't think so. All right? So go to another meeting, all right? We have a joke, you know, someone's all tight-assed, and I got 35 years, and like, whoa, there's something I don't want. So remember, go to another meeting that you feel more comfortable at. It's more your age group. My home group is in Belmore, no frills, and we're a big group with like 100 people a night, but it's really mixed, a lot of younger people, which it's hard for me to say younger people, like I'm 25 still. I'm still emotionally retarded. So, you know, as I'm hitting this bottom and moving it, I'm asked not to come back to work. I had a business plan, please don't come back. But I wanted to work, you know, there was that semblance of reality, and I'm starting to, like the big book talks about, I don't know the real from the unreal. I'm starting to like hallucinate or think like, I'm driving down Sunrise Highway drunk, and I'm looking at other cars driving, going, what's wrong with these people? You know, and I'm starting to do the, I always think, how the hell do you drive the wrong way on a road? And then all of a sudden I'm driving the wrong way on Sunrise Highway. You know, and I get off, and I'm like, you're shaking, oh, geez, oh, and what do? I find the first bar I can go to settle it all, you know. I want to be with the people who go, oh, Rick, don't worry, man, I did that 100 times. This is good. Right? Because we want to surround ourselves with like people. I don't drink with social drinkers. I don't drink with hard drinkers, or, you know, they're like, they drink hard on Friday and Saturday, maybe Sunday for football, okay? But man, they're clear-headed the rest of the week, okay? That's not me, I'm an alcoholic. I have to drink. People say to me, why can't you stop drinking? I said, why can't you stop breathing? Okay? Because I'm breathing, all right? When I don't take alcohol, I'm like, I can't breathe, all right? I can't talk to you. I'm restless, irritable, discontent. And the whole cycle starts. I take the drink, it leads to the spree, then someone says stop, I try to stop, and what do? I get restless, irritable, discontent. I get pissed, I gotta have a drink, and that's the cycle we talk about. And then, you know, my stopping drinking went away. I didn't try to stop. Nobody, you know, we talk about people like, oh, the wife said she'll leave me. I'm like, goodbye. You know, so my wife eventually does leave me with the children. We're like, we got to get out of here. And, you know, I didn't know, she left me, but I didn't know for like over a month she was gone. The house is so nice and quiet that bitch has learned a lesson. Now I'm hitting a bottom where like, I can't leave this room. And you know, nobody's there except me and the plastic bottles and one of those ottomans with all this white shit all over it. And you know, like dust balls were starting to generate, like dust balls were starting to jump up on the couch. And I was like talking to my nose. And then they would start saying like things like, and I'm saying like, you think I should? You think I should? Yeah, like, they tell me to do nasty things to myself because I have no place to go. And you know, when I came to AA, people started talking about, everything I heard in AA, I was like, oh yeah, that is me. Like, the room started getting really small. I mean, I watched so many cooking classes that never entered the kitchen. I can tell you how to straighten up a 2x4 because I just would watch television and drink and pass out and watch television. And in AA, for the first time, they said, I'm thinking about the second drink while I'm chugging the first drink. I was like, I know that feeling. You know, I don't even hear the ice hit me yet as I'm going like this. And I'm thinking about, where's that bartender going? You stay right here. You know, I used to hang out in the nightcap in North Babylon. And people go like, I want his glass, because I had a special glass. And don't put so much ice in it. I didn't buy ice. I bought gin, okay? And I don't need tonic water, just a little splash. And eventually, I couldn't leave the house. The shittiest bars that I went to would say, you can't come in here, man. I said, why? You're bothering the customers. Now, you gotta know the customers. They were like, you know, they were bad too, but you know, I couldn't leave the house, and like Stephanie, I weighed like 300 pounds, and my hair was down to my waist, but having long hair wasn't the big deal. It was like I didn't wash it or brush it or anything, so I had this big notch in the back of my head that grow, so I couldn't put my head down. I had to like lay on my side, and I would be walking around like this because this big knot would keep my neck down, and you know, I have high blood pressure. I looked like a zit that was ready to explode. But I have diabetes, and the skin was coming off of me. You know, I could drag my finger up my leg, and like it was like schmutz. You know, like, yeah, you know what I mean?
You too
yeah, that's
have
me.
that.
And I just, it was really bad. And I hit that bottom, and I don't know why, but I just got, I got on all fours, and I said, please, I need help. Because my wife, at that time, said, she came back and we got, you know, we didn't ever get married. We were like the hippie couple. We didn't want to ruin the love, the license. But we got married, but it was only for one reason. Because I went back in the house she didn't follow. It was some honeymoon. But it was just me and the Giorgio. You remember those bottles? They have like a hawk on it, like the brewed in the German mountains when they're really made in Newark, New Jersey. But she had married me to get the insurance and all the benefits down. And because everyone she talked to, my lawyer, my doctor, my friends, all said, he has about a month or so left in him, just get it done and get out of there. Because I did have only a little time left. You know, my body was failing me. But I did ask for help, and she did come back, and she got me into a hospital. And I can remember being in the hospital, and they're sticking tubes in me, but you know, it's really that, I could hear them talking about me. And you know, maybe you've gotten talked to while like you're not even there, you know, and they're like, oh man, look at this shithead. You know? And you're just like, yeah. But I did go into rehab, and the first thing, I'm looking around, and I see, I was there for a long time, so I started to see the groups within there. There's the first timers who are like, I got to do this. And then there's the guys that have been here a lot of times, and they're like, I'm going to fuck you over. And then there's the, you know, the girls. Which one do you want to have a romance with? There's such love developed in the rehab.
No.
Oh, yeah. Rich, watch the door while yeah, okay. But, no, I got into AA, and I I mean, I've had a lot of friends who died, who didn't make it, and I've had a lot of friends who went out and they're living pretty bad right now. But a couple of us, what happened to me is I got hooked up with a bunch of guys, and I got like very competitive about sobriety. We got really, and it was like it held me there, because I am competitive and I have a little bit of an ego. And you're like, oh, you haven't done step 3 yet? Oh my goodness, I'm up step 5. It looked like stupid, but it worked for us. It really worked. And we had a good time, and when one of us struggled, the other guy was there for you. And it just, you know, I see people come into AA and they sit by themselves in the back of the room and like, you know, I've been coming to AA for 10 months and nobody even knows my name. We didn't even know you were here. So you gotta like, I know you gotta raise your hand and go, you know, Richard, first time in AA. You know, unfortunately, what I did was, when I was in rehab, I'm listening to everyone go like, I gotta get sponsored. And then some people are like, I think you should be a tennis pro. I'd let him go in his own business. I just couldn't take it anymore. And some guy was speaking from AA, and he said, leave him. I just chased him and said, would you be my sponsor? He goes, give me a call. And I called him, and he's been my sponsor for 13 years. Okay? But the point of that story is that when I came to my first meeting, which is No Frills, and we're like the freak show of AA, is that I walked in, I looked at everybody, go like, oh shit, this is not for me. You know, you people are going to help me. You all look like losers. And then he was right there and said, Richard, come here, sit down. And I sat with him for 1 year. I didn't go to meetings without him or somebody that he knew. And they taught me what AA is and what it isn't. And I always had somebody there to answer and help me, okay? Because you can go to AA and you get real confused. You know, it's not about your kitty cat dying. It's not about your wife that hates you, which she should. It's not about all the guys you've been with. It's about my drinking problem and how to overcome it one day at a time. So if you've been to AA before and you say it doesn't work, I'll ask you, well, what work did you do, by the way? And if you're new to AA and never been there, you can enjoy the ride. Just you got to get close. You got to hook up with people because we're not magicians. You can't osmosis us your problems. You got to like use talk. Like, I got a problem. Okay, there you go. Well, I was looking at you for a week. I said, oh yes, I caught the vibes. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? I was munching a good cookie. All right. So anyway, if you've never been to AA, welcome to AA, and just give us your name, and then we'll help you. Because you help us more. And if you've been to AA before, and you tell me it doesn't work, try it a different way, change your seat, come up. You know, sometimes people say, like, you're a clique up there in the front. We're not a clique in the front. We're here to wait for you, okay? Not chase you. You got to want it. You got to want it. And one other thing is if you think, when I first came to AA, I looked around also, and I'm getting involved, but I'm like, I got to be in this AA the rest of my life. I'm going to be the best goddamn AA guy you ever knew. So I jumped into service, and it helped me a lot. So with that, I'm looking forward to seeing you at a meeting. Thank you. How you close? You want to do prayer? Sure. You go like a horse? All right. God,
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Thank you for being here. We're like, look, are you gonna have kids? I want a cat anytime. I got cats. I'm big. I got 5 cats and a dog. Plus they don't have our kids. So I am getting out on the 23rd. And the first thing you're gonna do is call me and go to the meeting. All right. Can I give you paper? Yeah, that actually works. Thank you so much. I'm so glad thought you were here. When did you? He loves that because it gives him a joke. You gave him material. Oh, do you? So you're a good Bowery run. Are you going back? When you're allowed back? Harry Street Workshop. Amazing. Yeah, really great meeting. Small, intimate, very cool people. Yeah, so look up for the guy there. Make it the first thing you do.
I still need to know how to do.
Yeah.
You also, and you are just as funny as him.
Yeah, the male ego is like a delicate flower.
Nice to meet you. I'm from Montauk.
Oh, good. Okay, so I live in Amityville, and our meeting is in Belmore.
Yeah. I'm in Hicksville. I'm the same way. I always have to say my number out loud.
I know. What is my number? 5800. I just wrote it. No. So how much longer are you here?
I leave on Wednesday.
Okay, so the first thing I'd really suggest is on Wednesday go to a meeting. Go to No Frills, 5 o'clock in Belmore.
Is it on?
Every day.
Every day?
7 days a week.
Okay, awesome.
A lot of young people, good energy, so make it there no matter what.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, I won't be there, but he'll likely be there, and I'll tell my sponsees to look for you.
I
When
get
do you
out on
leave?
Thursday.
Okay.
And I live in Hicksville.
Oh, good. Okay, and there's a ton of good meetings in Hicksville too. So if you call me when you get out, I'll give you some suggestions for meetings. Okay. Belmore? Yeah.
No, I know Belmore is, but I mean
Oh,
like
the meeting, yeah. So it's like, I would say, not even a quarter of a mile from the train station.
Oh, okay.
A white United Methodist church. It's on the corner of Martin and Belmore Avenue. Yeah, really easy spot, big meeting, lots of people your age.
Oh, it's younger people.
It's old. There's old timers. Look, we don't have meetings in people's time.
Right.
So there's always old timers there, but there's no social history. So you can fit in anywhere.
Right.
You know, there's electricians and there's doctors and it's a little bit of everything. Crazy. They're kooky and
A nice
energetic.
fit. Yes, that's what I like.
Exactly. Girls with tattoos covering, I've got a few but covering their whole body, you know, and we're all like there to love each other. It's pretty open. So, yeah, but first priority no matter it's AA. But there's a lot of people dual addicted. We try to say in AA, we stick to the message. So I would say to a sponsee who has a drug problem, mix it up. Always have a couple of NA and with your AA.
I'm a drug addict, but I like it.
Strong.
My dad is like
Yeah, come in and listen. Come in and get the message there. You get a lot of long-term sobriety there, and then there are plenty of people who do it. First thing, Wednesday, I'm expecting a call. One call before you go. You too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm expecting at least 2 phone calls. When are you done?
Monday.
Okay. They have my number.
Yes.
Think you can call me?
We should
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Linden.
Okay. I live in Amityville.
Oh, very good.
So close. No excuses.
No, well, there is no excuses, but I haven't seen my daughter, so that is one thing I want.
That is one thing you gotta do, but you can also make a meeting.
Yes.
I promise.
Yes. Yeah.
Willingness. I will go to any lengths. Going to a meeting is
She's
not a big
willing to
length.
go to those lengths.
I
too,
promise.
Right, girlie?
All right, at least call me.
I know about my
Thank you for being here.
That'll stop it. Willpower. Yeah, that'll stop it. It won't. You gotta surrender to
Are these all gonna fall if I sit on them? Maybe.
When's the date?
Oh, not till the summer. It's been a couple of years.
It's nice to see a good woman.
Yeah, I
Speaker.
think you guys need it. There aren't a lot of strong women. Yeah,
Speakers coming here.
I know. I know. I always tell them to ask me.
There was one time I had like 3 young girls come in last time.
That's
It was really good.
Yeah, that is true. So you have a lot of young people here. The last time you were here,
It's
How
like
many times
I'm
have
on
you been?
my 10th, 11th,
when do you want to keep doing it?
2 states. No.
Okay, so why aren't you?
All I hear is you're very, very smart.
Are you a drug addict or heroin?
Everything. Yeah.
Right. Sort of a garbage
Coke,
addict.
drink,
Right.
and I started, to get away from the coke. I
So what could you do
Couple
differently when
Vicodins.
you when do you get out of here?
don't know.
Okay.
I'm kind of.
What do you think
I
you
did
could
the
do
sober house
differently
thing
when you get
last
out?
time. It didn't work for me. I want to go to AA.
Yeah.
I did AA.
So the first thing to do is really, like, no matter what, and I think it sets you up for success. Like, I get out, I go to a meeting. I don't see my kid, I don't see my friend. Like, I go to a meeting, and I entrench myself in it immediately. But you gotta want it. I mean, you have to be like, I'm willing to go to anyone.
I went to St. Christopher's,
Oh, one of his sponsees, who's one of the most successful, yeah.
and then I went to Florida to the sober houses.
Yeah.
Did AA, had
Yeah.
10 months,
Yeah.
and then realized how absolutely corrupt and horrendous the system is down there.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that.
Left,
Right.
came home.
I see no reason for any of it. Just go to AA. I mean, you can do it that way if you want to do it that way. If someone asks you, you need to call me every day and go to a meeting every day, that's so fucking hard.
I'm coming back to AA.
Yeah. So it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Definitely coming back to AA.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's so much drama.
Right. I mean, I would suggest going to listen, to identify with other drug addicts.
Yeah.
But AA is the stronger
It doesn't
side.
go away.
And we don't have dealers outside offering. But Seafield outpatients in Amityville.
But you don't have to.
No, that's
You
where I
can
live,
call
right on
him.
the border over there.
Yeah.
Massapequa.
We live in
I was just
Amityville.
like, you know, when someone goes in this year, I just gotta let it pour out down.
Did he give you his
Because
number?
I get stuck, I get like.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I was hoping they had an NA meeting list, but they only have Suffolk.
They have pamphlets. Is that not it?
There's no meetings on the other one.
No, it isn't. Online. Are you guys allowed to go online? Okay.
Nah, they ended that with somebody who tried to go on Silk Road and buy drugs years
Good.
ago.
Great.
Yeah. But thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for being
I
here.
heard him come.
Do it differently this
I
time.
was last time he came on. He was hilarious.
Yeah. He's a pretty good
Makes
example.
him indelible.
Yeah, okay.
Bye, Lou.
Bye, guys. I hope to see you at No Frills.
Okay.
You'll call him the day you get out.
Hey, Asian.
He does that to every single Asian person. Pretty annoying, to be
All right, nice
honest.
to meet you too.
Bye, guys. Thank you for being here.
Bye. Very good. Dead on film.
Dead arm, dead arm.
You were really good. Very.
Thank you. I'm a really good speaker.
You are.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
Notice how I mix up my story a little now? It rolls.
Much better. When I first met you and you didn't want me
Yeah.
to talk about how great you were,
Yeah.
and then I'd listen and I was like, what am I missing? You are so good now. Like, because you talk.
Yeah.
The reason I'm good is I'm just talking.
Well, yeah.
You know? But I mean it, and I believe it. You know, it's not bullshit.
You know, I don't know what the girls said, but that was the best meeting we've ever gone.
All the girls said that too. Yeah. Yeah. All of them were like, that was the best. Yes. I can't believe it. Two of them, one of them gets out Wednesday. She's going to call me and she can make the No Frills meeting and I can't be there, but I'm going to tell my girls to look out for her.
Yeah, I watched the girls as you were talking.
Oh yeah,
identified.
they were identified. Oh, I was still recording. I wonder if it recorded. Is it still recording?